What's up YouTube, Mr. Llama here, and today we're going to be talking through a Fire Sorceress guide. This is going to be the pure fire version of it. It does run into some immunity issues, but it's still a decent character, especially in party play. If you just really want to max out that fire damage, it can be super deadly and you can get it very, very high up. To start out, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this character. So you can see her starting stats. You can see her life and mana gain per life and per stat and character level, and you can see that overall her life gain is not amazing. So that's something you're really gonna have to watch out for. She's gonna be a little bit fragile. Frames are down in the bottom right. I'll have a link in the description explaining more about the breakpoints and frames and everything like that. But this is very important to know. You'll want to know this when gearing out your character. So take a picture, come back to this, save this, whatever it is, you're gonna want that. In terms of skills for this character, it's pretty standard. A point in frozen armor, point in static field, telekinesis, and teleport. I like to get one in enchant just to enchant my mercenary because it helps his attack rating and a little bit of damage. And then everything else is just straight down the line, just boosting up your fireball, your meteor, your firebolt, your fire mastery, all of that. You just want to really have very high fire damage on this character. Super easy right there. In terms of how do we level this character, it's going to be super easy. Level, so Den of Evil point, boom. Level 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going right there. Level 6, I probably put in like static field. You could also throw one into Frost Nova early on if you wanted for like 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. At level 12, I'm just putting the points into Fireball. At level 17 or a Radamant point or whatever, I get Telekinesis. And at level 18, I go into Teleport. After that, I'm just going to keep going into this until I hit level 30, where I get a point in Fire Mastery. Now, if you want to get your Meteor going, you can also use some of your like Isual points, your Radamant, whatever to get these. And then you can start putting points into Meteor as well. But I really prefer having Fireball as my main damage, so I'm going to be really going for that bad boy. Adding to this, and you can actually see that you gain 7% additional fire damage here, but you gain 14% more damage by placing into Meteor and Fire Bolt. The only thing is Meteor gets less damage from that. So generally, before you max out Fire Mastery, you're going to want to max out Meteor and Fire Bolt to really boost your damage. I think going Fireball Meteor is a pretty standard way to do this. Then you'll max out Fire Bolt, and then you'll max out your Fire Mastery. And like I say, you can have like 1 point there, 1 point there, 1 point here. And yeah, then you just kind of max this out. And I mean, I still have 20 skill points left over, and I'm kind of maxed. You can spend those as you want. Maybe get a Hydra. Just kidding, they're pretty garbage. But you can see that, I mean, your fire damage is pretty dang good already, just from some very basic stuff. You're able to murder a lot of things with this character. So, that's how I level up that. In terms of stats, I do just enough strength for gear, just enough dexterity for gear, everything else into vitality. And I don't mind putting some points into energy, I have, some random stuff on right now, adding like energy and stuff. But I don't mind actually placing up to like 50, 60 points, maybe like 9 more than that, in to energy when I'm teleporting through the game, because you are going to be, once again, burning a lot of mana when you're just sitting there, just shooting your mana off, right? You're just going to burn through. And this is even with insight working and everything and a lot of gear. Like, you burn through mana quickly. So you're going to want to watch for that overall. But otherwise, you'll eventually respec out of it, put nothing in energy in the end game. And like I say, just enough strength for gear, whatever that'll be. Probably around 156 for a spirit shield. It's probably going to be your max strength item. Nothing in dexterity or whatever you need for items, but it should be nothing. And then everything else into vitality. That's going to be pretty standard for the building through. Now, getting into the gear, there's a few options with all of this. So to start out, I like this build right here. Just running in a Shootas. Obviously, I'd want to run with one with 20% to fire skill damage, but whatever. I just have like a random one picked out. Shaco. I don't actually want that. I want my Mara's. There we go. Mara's, Spirit, COH, Mage Fist, Stone of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, BK or another Stone of Jordan, Trex, and then CTA and Spirit. Once again, you do want to kind of note where your FCRs are at. So 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right? So this gets me over the 105 breakpoint, so I'm perfectly fine. That's where I really want to be with this character, is at that 105, which is why I'm able to just stack these without going for any FCR on these pieces. If you want even more damage, you can stack even more damage with, like, I'm sure like a Fireball Ormus you could use, or you could, I mean, that's not going to be like super great for the character, but it'll be a little bit more. You could get a J mod if you really wanted, whatever stuff. But this is really going to be like a pretty standard fire setup right here. And then of course your Source Torch and Annie right there. And then whatever like little charms like this, plus to life and resistances are great. And then you can just stack out your fire skillers all the way. So if you can get like these sorts of things, that'll be really good. Obviously, if these have like plus to life, it's even better. What are some other alternatives for this? Some people like to run just a full setup for the fire source with Tau Rashes, because it's actually not too bad. You get the minus to the resistances. I actually like this for Meteor even more. But you get the minus there, you get all the plus skills, you get the plus res, 10 FCR right there from all of these pieces. You're getting that 10 FCR on top of it. So it ends up actually not being a terrible build to just run a full Taos, and then you get to glow, which is always fun. So this is useful. Like I say, I prefer this on Meteor, but it's pretty nice. If you're wanting to do a Magic Find build, you can actually just run the 3-piece, and that'll actually be pretty nice. So you can see you do Taos, 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 and that's a great way to get good Magic Find. And then, of course, you can shift in like War Travs. And if you have, you know, any room for more FCR swap off, you can go ahead and put on Chanseys here. Or you can switch in Nagel Rings right there. I mean, a lot of things like that, right? But what if you don't even have that sort of stuff? What if you're just playing through the game and you're just trying to figure out what's the basics for this character? Well, there's a lot of great basics. One could be something as simple as a leaf. This is fantastic early in the game. +3 to fire skills. That's going to boost up your fireball damage, your meteor damage, your fire mastery, all of that stuff. Super, super great. Love to have that. Spectral Shard can be really nice. Spirit Sword can be super nice. You can use this at level 25 because you can get just that sword a lot easier than getting like a Monarch Shield. So way easier there. Suicide Branch is great. Gold Dagger is if you want Magic Find. Whiz Pike is really nice with all the resistances and FCR and mana on it. Another great addition and item right there for the character. You could also simply use that Tau Rashes. You could use an Oculus as well, which we have right over here. You know, I mean, a lot of really nice, cheap options for this character to make it super good. Armor-wise, stealth is super easy. That's kind of like you're starting. Every character is going to make this. Super great. Scolders for some Magic Find if you want that. Smoke for reds if you need that. But this is one of my favorites. Is just Viper Magi. Not crazy hard to find. Get it from like Nightmare Mephisto and just do great. And then Q Hagen's is also super nice as well. You get the skills and FCR and all those things, which is just fabulous. In terms of rings, getting FCR rings is always good. So FCR with dual res, life, strength, stats, all that stuff is just going to be super helpful. So if you need to get more faster cast rates for some reason, great place to get it is just this. In terms of amulets, things like Seraph's Hymn is really not bad. Eye of Etlich is not bad. Telling of Beads is not bad. Get just like plus to skills and all of that stuff. And it's going to be very, very helpful because once again, we're just trying to boost the skills up on this character since that's where all her damage really comes from. Belt-wise, String of Ears could be okay. Night Smoke wouldn't be bad. Get some resistances. Just like a random belt with res and strength and life and all that. Or just a big life belt is good. Gold Wrap for the Magic Find. Tal's Belt even by itself is nice. You get a little Magic Find. You get the mana. I mean, it's not terrible. A lot of things like that can work out. For shields, Ancient's Pledge is my just like standard shield that I would always recommend here. You're just going to get such good resistances from that for the Act 5 Quest 2 Saving the Barbs quest. Super easy. You get Ralort Tal after completing it, and then you can just put them in a shield, and it's fantastic. So have 34 strength by that. If you want the rhyme, You can get this. You get a little magic find from it, which is nice. Cannot be frozen. Not super important on this character, but it's okay. But you do get less resistances. And then something like a Moser's or a Sanctuary would be very good for the character as well, right? So those can be nice a little bit. Maybe later on you find them. In terms of helmets, Tier and a helm is great. Lore is probably the best helm that you can really get early. Get it in Nightmare Act 1 from Nightmare Countess. Skills, energy, res, mana per kill. Just getting big resistances on these sorts of helms is good. But even random stuff like a Peasant Crown, Sazabis, once again, anything with plus to skills is just going to be super nice. And even if it doesn't have plus to skills, res, vitality, hit recovery, damage reduction, that's pretty solid. You can't be upset about any of that stuff, right? For gloves, Mage Fist are definitely your best in slot here because you get the extra fire skills. But you can also use some Trang's gloves, 20 FCR, 30 cold res, so those are really nice. Otherwise, just get some gloves with like big life, right? Life and hit recovery here, 40 to life on these. Those are definitely nice. Chances are good. Frostburn will give you a big mana increase, so that can be super nice to like boost up your mana pool if you need it. A lot of options there. For your boots, Hisaris, Water Walks, Treks, Infernos, random faster run walk boots that you can just shop or find. Natalia's are great. Alders are great. There's really going to be a lot of nice boots. And because you're going to have enough strength for Spirit Shield, a lot of these boots you'll be able to wear anyways. Pretty much any boot you'll be able to wear. So look around for these different boots if you don't find, But even if you find Treks, you might prefer the life from Waterwalk, so you might prefer, Alders. This is a very popular boot to get the fire res because you're not getting fire resist from Spirit Shield. So a lot of people like to put these on instead to kind of replace that. Yeah, and that kind of covers your character. In terms of gear and what you want your mercenary to have, the best in slot right there is probably just going to be Infinity, Fortitude, and Andes. Just boost down the damage overall, which is really nice. So that can be super solid because you are going to get the increased fire damage here, but this Conviction Aura will decrease their fire resistance overall. So that's going to be something that you'll want to focus on if you can get it. Fortitude and Andes are both nice and just really good for like life leech and all of that stuff. Other than that, Insight is fantastic. Obedience is great and cheap. Honor is great and cheap. Reaper's Toll isn't bad. Bone Hew, Tomb Reaver's fine. Treachery is a fantastic armor for the Mercenary. Shaft Stop is great. Smoke is fine. All of that stuff. Crown of Thieves is decent right here. Big life leech and life. Big life leech and life. Once again, you're seeing kind of a pattern right there. Big life leech and damage reduction. All of that is super helpful. And so, all of that's just really great, right? Like there's just a lot of really nice stuff and not super expensive options. Like this is so cheap, but it's really a nice mercenary helm. So there's really a lot of decent options for your mercenary where he can keep himself alive and do some good damage overall. So that pretty much kind of covers this character, I would say. It's very, very strong. Like I say, you will run into a lot of fire immunes, but when you don't run into the fire immunes, you get a nice explosion and, oh, nice. Get a nice explosion. She teleports around really quickly and can really just kill a lot of things very, very easily. And you have your mercenary, of course, to help out as well. So, definitely a high-end, probably A-tier build. I would say it's like lower A-tier, low to mid A-tier, just because fire immunes do exist more in Hell, but her damage is extremely high, and if you have an Infinity or if you have, a couple party members running around with you, you're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Yeah, so that is my fire guide. I hope that this was helpful, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace, YouTube.